Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello friends, it's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. That's me, bloop, Debsy. That really got away from me. Oh, this hair. So, happy Tuesday, everybody. If it's Tuesday, then that meant last night I watched the Bachelorettes, and I'm gonna recap it all. So let's get on into the Bachelorettes. So this week was a difficult week for both of the women for different reasons. So there were two individual dates. There was a large group date, the largest group date, I believe, in Bachelorette history. That was nasty. Like, it was just weird. It was just a weird group date. So to kick it off, Rachel had her first date. She gave her first date of the night to Zach. Zach and Rachel went to meet with Karamo, who is, as you know, one of the gentlemen on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, the new one. He helped style him, and he had said that he was able to pull some strings and get them into an exclusive movie premiere. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow. So they tried on some outfits, and they settled on a really nice tux for him and a really ugly green sequined, it looked like green, but I think it was like urine yellow. I did not like it. She threw like some feathery thing on top. No, ma'am, but their interaction there was very nice. I did enjoy seeing them together. Oh, this hair. So, they got along very well. So they end up going to this movie premiere. It was just them. It was this movie called Me and You. They go in, it's just them, into this theater, it's just them. And there is a piano player, and then they play this movie called Me and You, and it is family movies of Rachel and then Zach. I don't know, there was part of me that was like, this is so cute. And then there was part of me that was like, this is cringy. Like, I wanted them to go to a for real movie premiere. I was like, a movie premiere. They get out and it's just them, and they're in front of this walk and this step and repeat, and they're just like, oh, and playing and like, oh, dancing. I'm like, oh, really? But they were talking, and it was very nice. So Rachel gave Zach the rose. Hooray. Loved that. Meanwhile, Gabby shows up at the mansion to surprise the guys. The dudes are just laying around. They end up playing football and pretty much ignoring Gabby, and which was odd. Most of them just ignore her and keep playing, pick up football. And that kind of made her think, like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I here? I mean, none of these guys are interested in me. What the shit? So then after that, we get into Gabby's one-on-one date. And that was with Eric. And I thought it was really nice. And they brought back, let me just tell you, they brought back one of my favorite people last year, and that is Gabby's grandfather, John. Let me tell you, this guy is funny and just talking about getting a beer and cussed a little bit. So Eric, Gabby, and her grandpa went to a sound bath, and the grandfather was kind of looking like, huh? And I think he just did say something like, I don't care, whatever, just give me my beer. And so they all go in, and it's real relaxing. And then next thing you know, you see her grandpa laying on the ground sleeping. I honestly, I love her grandfather. Her grandfather was the best part of that whole date. So then the three of them go bowling, and Gabby finds a woman, an older woman, to, go off with her grandfather. She like pimped her grandfather off or something. But I thought it was real cute. Now I'm going to tell you, a few years ago, whenever there was one of the bachelors, it was on The Bachelor, and the women that they were picking, I think it was when Pilot Pete was the Bachelor, and he had like women that he was interested in were like in their real early 20s, and he's in his 30s, I think. And we were all like, why don't you get somebody who's a little more mature and a little older? So then what they did was they put this call out for seniors, grandparents who are looking to date again, and sexy seniors. And we were all like, no, that's not what we meant. We didn't mean this. But if you're going to do that, now listen, ABC is not going to watch this, and ABC will never see this. ABC, listen, if you are planning on doing the senior bachelor or whatever, get Gabby's grandfather, Grandpa John. That's who you need to have on that. I'm telling you, people would watch. I would watch it every week. I guarantee you I would talk about it here every week. So there we go. So then Gabby and Eric go out to dinner, and Gabby starts talking about her fractured relationship with her mother and how it's just a terrible relationship. I was liking Eric up until this point, but then when she started talking about that, like he was talking about how good his relationship was with his parents, and then she talked about how terrible her relationship is with her mother. And she could have gotten more compassion from these glasses, or like, and this. Seriously, he was just looking at her like. So I don't know. So she had a little breakdown and then came back on to screen and was like, okay, I'm fine. Gave him the rose. So we're moving on. Next day, they had the weirdest ass group date of ever. It was a photo shoot. Like, they both showed up in wedding dresses, and then they had the guys were assigned outfits, and the scenarios that they were posing in was odd. Like, they had cowboys doing a car wash, and then they had Avon was playing a pregnant lady, and he gave birth to Meatball, to this big hairy guy in a diaper. Ugh, it was so weird. It was so odd. But then at the end, they had two men proposing to each of the women. For Rachel, they had Tino and Logan. And for Gabby, they had Nate. I'm going to tell you what, when Nate proposed, it was for real, like a real for real proposal. And I'm going to tell you, I cried a little bit last night, and I cried again today when I rewatched it. It was beautiful. And Tyler also proposed. Now, Tyler later on let Gabby know that he is there for Rachel. And so then afterwards, they had the after party. Rachel had talked to 3 different guys. Talked to Avon. I talked to Avon, and they were at SoFi Stadium for where the Los Angeles Rams play. So she was talking to Avon. The only thing that concerns me about Avon, I don't know why he has to wear pants that are so tight and so short on the bottom. Just don't understand. The second guy I think she talked to was Jordan. And the third guy she talked to was Tino. I'm going to tell you, Tino, they had like a couch out on the field. Woo! Tino, I would pick Tino. And she said, I'm sure Gabby is having as equally a great time. Gabby was not having as equally a great of a time. Now, she went into the evening questioning if she was good enough to be the Bachelorette. Well, she came up, there were 3 guys who one after the other told her that they were there for Rachel. Tyler was actually really really cool about it. Tyler was respectful, but then Hayden. Now listen, I told you at the beginning, I loved Hayden. Wrong. No, and no. Hayden is done because he had come in and said that his values align more with, and his morals align more with Rachel, and he said that that Gabby is too rough around the edges. That's the look that I made last night, and that's the look I'm making now. No. And then Jacob, aka oily bohunk Fabio, said that he's more into Rachel, and if she was the only one there, then he wouldn't have the heart to stay. He would leave. But he did throw her a bone and say, but you're smoking. Now, earmuffs if you don't want to hear this, but fuck you and fuck you, both of them. And that devastated Rachel, because she was already worried about whether or not she was good enough. And now she's being tossed aside and judged because she's different. I'm sorry, but listen, if you watch Peter Mon, then you know Gabby's too much, and you keep being too much, Gabby. Fuck all those men who don't want you. Send them packing. I would rather see somebody on TV who has a personality and who has something to say than not. So screw you all. So she went and she talked, they met up with the guys and they gave out their first impression roses for that group date. Rachel gave one to Avon and Gabby didn't give any. Now listen, I think she was right in doing that because she felt like shit. They made her feel like shit. I'm mad. So she then told Rachel about all this that happened and said about Hayden. And listen to this. And Rachel had said, what the F? What the F? About Hayden. Okay. And Rachel said, do you want me to say anything? And Gabby was like, no, don't say anything. I'm here to find love. I'm not here to teach grown dudes how to act. True. You're right. That's right. So then they were talking and they decided to change the game. They thought, this is not working for me. We're not going to do this. We're going to draw lines. And listen, you're dating one or the other. You're not playing in the middle. You're not jumping the fence back and forth. We're not doing this. So they changed the game. There was no cocktail party. They're going straight to the rose ceremony. So now Rachel has her roses to give out. Gabby has hers. If you reject one, then you go back into line and you wait to see if the other woman has decided to pick you. And if not, you're gone. So there we go. And the person, if a woman gets rejected, then she gets that rose taken away. So there we go. So they start giving the roses out. First of all, we have Rachel already has Zach and Avon, who had gotten roses previously in the show. Gabby also already has Eric, who got one. So Rachel gave one to Tino. Tino accepted. Gabby gave one to Nate. He accepted. Rachel gave one to Logan. He accepted. Gabby gave one to Johnny. He accepted. Then Rachel made the mistake of saying, so far, this is going so well. The wheels fell right off after that. Rachel then offered one to Maine. He said, no, thank you. I'm here for Gabby. Okay. Gabby gave one to Spencer. He accepted. Rachel then went to Alec, the old color me bad or reject, and he said, no, thank you. I'm Gabby. So she was shook by that point. Gabby then gave one to Jason. He said yes. Rachel gave one to Tyler. He said yes. Gabby then gave one to Mario. He said yes. Next, Rachel gave one to Ethan. He said yes. Then Gabby gave one to Kirk. He said yes. Everybody for Gabby said yes. Jordan V for Rachel said yes. Kirk said yes. And then Quincy said yes for Gabby. And then Meatball. Rachel, Meatball, do you accept this rose? No, I'm here for Gabby. She was like, the fuck? So they go behind, they take a break and they say, listen, this isn't, we were supposed to be taking back the power. They're taking it back from us with this. What are we going to do? So they go back out, they continue along, and Gabby offers one to Michael. Michael accepts. And then with her last rose, Rachel offers one to Hayden, the one who made her best friend feel like shit. I was pissed. When I saw that, I was like, is this? I thought you were supposed, now listen, I'm sure they're great friends, but I thought that was a shitty move. I thought that was a shitty move on her part. Now I'm thinking that maybe she just offered it to Hayden because she knew that he wouldn't reject her, because he already told Gabby, hey, listen, I'm here for Rachel. That's the only thing that I can think of, because I thought that was a dick move. I thought that was a shitty move. Like, if somebody says something shitty about your best friend and then you're going to go and you're going to try and date them, I thought that was shitty. I thought that was terrible. So that's it. So we have, Rachel has 8 guys. Gabby has 9. Next week, they're going to Paris. Also, it looks like somebody says something, one of the guys says something real shitty about Rachel. And also, looks like Logan might think he made a mistake because he's talking about, like, every time I'm in the room with both of them, I have feelings for Gabby. I told you from the very beginning, Logan was going to be a problem. I knew it, and I knew it. No. So then at the very end, usually at the end, they have like bloopers. This time they had Meatball. Meatball went back and begged Rachel for a second chance. And he was like, I wish I would have known how you feel about me. She's like, I tried to give you a rose. That means I like you. He was like, oh. So I guarantee you, she only has 8 guys. I guarantee you, she's going to take him back. So it evens it up at 9. So we'll see next week. This week, I was pissed. If you're watching, let me know. Who do you really like? Who do you hate? And am I right or not right for now hating Hayden? The appropriate answer to that is yes, you are correct for hating Hayden now. Okay, so if I have not told you today I love you, you're loved, seen, and heard, please make sure to put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there, because we all need it. Please make sure to stay safe. If it's real hot where you're at, please stay cool and hydrate. And I love you guys. Have a great night. Bye.